Hey there, I'm Joe Carter. If you've ever popped the hood and thought, where do I even start? You're in good company. Around here, we take the mystery out of car repair, one fix at a time. Whether you're a beginner or just looking to sharpen your skills, there's something here for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're into learning without the headaches. All right, that's enough from me. Let's get into it.
There are many types of bearings: tapered, spherical, roller, radial ball, etc. But it is not essential for replacement. The essence of operation is the transmission of rotation through the rolling elements. In this case, the outer and inner rings are not connected to each other. In our case, the inner cage is connected to the hub and the outer cage to the knuckle. Inside the hub, there are splines that are used to engage the hub with the drive shaft. It is these splines that allow the transmission to transmit torque from the gearbox to the wheels of the car. Auxiliary mechanisms. Immediately it should be noted that the replacement of the wheel hub bearing is possible in two ways: canonical. It is the only possible if you want the spare part to go for a long time and happily. Artisanal. In this case, the resource of the new part depends entirely on your skill. Another type of construction involves the use of a threaded joint between a bolt and a nut as a force to extrude the bearing. The principle of selecting the inserts is the same as for the previous puller. The second method of replacement involves the use of various inserts and a hammer. They are knocked out and then hammered back in the hub and the wheel bearing. Change with your own hands. On the example of Daewoo Lanos, let's consider how to replace the front wheel bearing. Install chocks. Remove the lock and rip off the hub nut. Raise the car, fixing the position with a log or other type of stop. Unscrew the brake caliper mount and remove the brake pads. The caliper itself can be secured with a rope. Be careful not to damage the brake hose. Remove the brake disc. Unscrew the stabilizer bar mount, steering knuckle and ball bearing. Use a ball bearing puller to remove the lug and ball bearing from their seats. Remove the bolts securing the shock absorber strut under the hood of the vehicle. Pull the steering knuckle off the drive shaft splines. Remove the brake disc guard. Move the strut to a convenient place for work. Install the puller and separate the hub from the steering knuckle. Using the special bent pliers, squeeze the corkscrew ring. Keeping it in a compressed state, forge it with a flathead screwdriver. Remove the second one in the same way. Now on the reverse side, install the retainer that will press out the bearing. Remove it from the front wheel steering knuckle. Pressing in whether the replacement of the front hub bearing is successful depends entirely on correct installation. Before pressing in, be sure to clean the surface from dirt and clean the grooves of the circlips. The edges of the seat in the steering knuckle can be rubbed with sandpaper. Be sure to lubricate the bearing itself and the cavity inside the knuckle. Of course, first of all it is necessary to install a new retaining ring. Put the hub strictly in the center of the seating hole. You can lightly blow with your hand to try to stuff it a little. Place the hub under a press or mount a press puller. Carefully make sure that the part is not skewed. Otherwise, the replacement of the front wheel bearing will be in vain. Soon there will be rumble or backlash again. When you feel that the bearing has settled, you can stop. Install the second circlip. Press the hub into the knuckle. You can say that the bearing replacement was successful. What to do if part of the bearing remains on the hub? Oddly enough, bearing replacement is often not without mishaps. When the hub is pressed out, the inner cage of the front hub may remain in its seat. The best solution in this case is to pull the cage with a special puller. Unfortunately, the cost of it is quite large, so afford such a tool can only hundreds. Folk masters recognize two ways out of this situation: to saw the remnants with a bolgar, to then cut with a chisel, knock down the cage with a chisel. Both of these methods are dangerous because there is a risk of damaging the seating place of the front bearing on the hub. If you use the second method, take care not to damage the seating plane. We recommend trying to use a hub puller. And only in case of dead clinging of the cage resort to emergency measures. Rear axle. The principle of pressing out and pressing in the rear hub bearing is no different from the work done with the front axle. Working without a puller. If you are changing the front wheel ball bearing using the artisanal method, pay attention to the following tips. A socket head of suitable diameter can be used as a press-in ring. The old bearing can be used as a press-in ring.